the pacing is really, really just awesome.
It's so impressive. So the way the Safdie brothers kind of split it up is that Josh is the writer, they both direct, and then Benny is the editor. So a lot of that pacing is Benny. I mean, I think that he's so impressive.
Well, they write for it too, because there's especially Uncut Gems.
Yes.
You have, like you said in your breakdown, people talking over each other. It's much more. It's closer to real life than you generally see on films.
Well, that's kind of in both of these movies. There's a hyper realism to it.
Yeah,
I said in my breakdown. People misspeak, they stumble their words, they talk over each other. They speak the way that people don't speak in movies, that people speak in real life.
Right.
And a lot of the background characters are not played by actual actors.
Which I like that.
The bail bondsman is an actual bail bondsman. Mm-hmm. The social worker in Good Time is an actual social worker. And they're doing their actual job. They're saying, if a guy came in here and was acting like this, how would you actually treat him?
The mafia guy, who, it's funny, like we talk a lot about organized crime and mafia stuff. There's clearly in Uncut Gems an organized crime element, but it's never really defined.
So this is what.
But I was just gonna, before you get to your point, don't forget it. I was just gonna say the main. Well, the big kind of
enforcer.
Heavy,
he wasn't an actor.
Exactly,
he's not an actor.
Which he fucking kills it.
I think it's he borrowed money, and then that guy hired some gangsters to help him get his money back. Like, I don't think he borrowed.
Don't think Arno was involved in organized crime? To me, it looked like almost Arno was like a captain. Clearly, it's not the Italian mob, but it looked like he would be like a skipper type, and then the other guys were like soldiers.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They
never really define it.
Yeah, they never really define it. And when the gangsters kind of show up at the jewelry store, Howard's kind of surprised that he's sending people after him. So, right. or I think he says a line like, "What, did you hire some goons?" That's why I think maybe he loaned Howard some money and then he hired some.
I'm not sure I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I feel like Arno is more tied in. But
it's also not. It's not defined.
Yeah,
and
it's not.
This movie, where I talk about its kind of realistic feel to it, nothing feels like it's supposed to be aesthetically pleasing to the camera. Like, every house, specifically Howard's house, and then the apartment at the end of Good Time, they have a very like gaudy 80s vibe to it. And it's like no one in the late 2000s has that, you know?
I love the apartment in Good Time. I also like the other character,
the security guard.
The Safdie brother guy plays like, what's his character's name again?
The brother,
not Connie.
I forget.
Or does the Safdie brother play the actual mentally challenged brother?
Yes.
Who's the other actor then?
He's not really well known. He's in a lot of the Safdie brothers. Like, he's in their earlier movie and a few of like their shorts.
I like the fact that he thinks that's a nice apartment.
Yeah.
To me, that's hilarious.
Yes.
He's like, "Oh man, this is a nice place."
Yeah, you know exactly who these people are from the streets.
Yeah.
You know? And then you also have like these are both very New York movies. Like, I love how Adventureland, like this Long Island landmark that makes an appearance of, I guess people outside of Long Island know about Adventureland, but like it's a Long Island
Not
thing.
really. Only from that movie called Adventureland.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
About it. And I don't even think many people know about that.
Yeah. So the fact that it shows up and it's kind of like a treat for people from New York,
but it also works. Like if you,
but it also 100% works in the context of the movie.
Because it's a creepy place. Yeah. It's interesting. Forever, I knew that Adventureland was in Good Time.
Yeah,
and I just didn't know. I just didn't watch Good Time because I just didn't get around to it. And then when I found out we were going to do it for the show, I was excited. Yeah. And part of it was I love the Safdie brothers off of the short sample size that I know from them. But that's how much I liked Uncut Gems. And then I knew that Adventureland was in it. So I'm kind of waiting, and it doesn't happen until about 3/4 into the movie.
Right.
And it's at nighttime.
Yeah.
In my head, when I heard Adventureland, I had it in the daytime.
Because you've never been there at night before.
Well, I mean, or if you are, it's, a summertime night and it's all lit up. And
right.
It was, and I guess they were I guess they built that set.
I haven't been to Adventureland since I was a kid, so I have no idea what their haunted house looks like.
No,
I imagine that is a set.
Obviously.
Here's the thing. If this was... Good Time wasn't that high budget of a movie. If this was...
I can tell you what. If Adventureland was involved, they had some money, because my band Gamblers, we just shot something and we were going to use Adventureland, and they tried to charge us like fucking crazy. And James is in the building right now. He knows what I'm talking about. But
there we go.
But and we ended up doing it at another theater.
James is the homie.
Yeah. By the way, producer of the show is in the building right now.
James.
This is a special event. He has not been here since episode 1.
Where was I going with this?
The point is...
the point... If this was a different director, I'd say that was a set. But knowing the Safdie brothers, know how they kind of have this realism, like we're on the streets of New York film style to them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just wanted to use one of the actual rides. It wouldn't surprise me either way. Honestly,
it's probably a combination of both. It was the inside of the haunted house, and I'm sure they added some different things. Because if you're going in that, first of all, you can't walk around the haunted house. At least that's how they used to have it set up.
I don't remember what the haunted house was like.
You sit in a thing. It's a ride.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway.
But yeah, so these are both very New York movies. There are like things in it that are just for New Yorkers. I mentioned Necro, the rapper, who he's a personality
in the breakdown. Yeah,
he's a personality around New York, and it gives that New York feel to it of just like, I know this guy. But
unfortunately, the fat Jewish is in Uncut Gems. That's the one bad thing about that movie.
Because I know
that guy sucks.
Because he stole a meme from Peter McManus Cafe. Yes,
he did.
Because the fat Jewish was well known for stealing memes back in the day. Now he gives everybody credit.
Is that what he does now?
Well, he has to.
Is he still active?
I mean, I haven't heard from him for a while, but like, also, like, who cares about like memers anymore? Like, fucking.
Well, they made a lot of money, like the fuck Jerry thing, and that gets into the whole Fire Festival, which we should do that at some point.
We should.
We should do both of them.
Have you watched both of them?
I just with the Netflix one.
The Netflix one is good, but the
other one's better.
The Hulu one has Billy McFarland in it.
Yeah, okay.
Interviewed.
I don't remember.
But all right, more famously than Necro or the Fat Jewish, Mike Francesa, who, if you're from New York, like you know that voice.
All right, we're back on the podcast. All right, Movies by McManus.
We're doing Movies by McManus. No,
no, we're not doing A-Rod right now. Okay, call back.
Yeah, call back. Now.
He's
the Safdie brothers are the Safdie brothers. When the Safdie brothers are being the Safdie brothers, they're on Scorsese. But like, you have Adam Sandler is a leading man. But you have New York personalities showing up in your film.
He's a radio host.
Yes, he's a radio host. Giving that New York authenticity to it. What's great about Mike Francesa, which like, I guess if you're not from New York, like maybe you didn't have the same experience, but you get that Adam Sandler's character, Howard, and Mike Francesa's character have a pretty long pre-existing relationship. So when you first see him, you get that same feeling that Adam Sandler's character is. You walk in, you see him, and you go, "Oh, I know this guy."
100%.
Him and the character have a long-standing relationship, and especially if you're from New York, you and Mike Francesa have a long-standing relationship. Because if you're into sports radio, you know who Mike Francesa is.
That's why these guys. I mean, we're from New York, so it's biased, but like, I fucking love these guys.
No,
because
I
just
love
the
them
fact
too.
that they even put Mike Francesa
Yes.
in a movie, but then they did it in the right way.
Yeah.
Like to have Mike Francesa be like a mob-related numbers bookie guy who also is involved in an Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
That's fucking perfect.
They got the feeling in Uncut Gems specifically, they got the feeling of just financial district Manhattan, or I should say Diamond District Manhattan,
yeah.
to a T.
Yeah.
Of like, it's fast paced, you're walking everywhere. If you're in a car, you're stuck in traffic. Fucking.
And Sandler has that salesman thing
yes.
down. Like
everybody who has spent time in Manhattan knows someone like that.
and I love, and it was like, and it's not over the top and like almost like a caricature. Like he's like he's like, Garnett, you're a big guy. Like what do you need that small watch for? Like he's just like, he's upselling him while he's being nice. Like it's not over the top sales. It's
Right.
like just that New York thing.
There's they go up a few floors in an elevator, and there's a jewelry like the fact that there's a jewelry shop a couple floors up is very Manhattan
And very nerve-wracking too.
And very
just like
nerve-wracking.
that claustrophobia of Manhattan.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
The whole movie is super claustrophobic, but especially his actual shop is like. Don't you? Whenever we're in the shop, my heart is just like something's off here.
Yes,
like that's a horrible environment to just.
Well, being in Manhattan, if you're in one of those shops that like isn't ground level, that's a couple floors up, like that's how it feels. Like every building in Manhattan is tiny.
Reminds me of this karaoke place in Koreatown, where you go up and it's up in the floors. Like it's not like a building you walk into. Like the one floor is a restaurant, then there's a thing. Like it's just.
But here's the thing: the fact that they even thought to put the jewelry store a couple floors up.